Good morning. I'm Helen Hudson, the founder of SafeShowings. I'm going to wait a minute or two just to allow some more people to join. We are recording this webinar in case anyone is unable to attend. We'll be able to share it with you through the recording. One thing I want you to pay attention to, if you don't remember anything else, is your association has invested in your safety. So you do not need to go to the App Store to download the app. A lot of times when we hear the word app and we're excited about a new benefit, the first thing we think of is let's go download it from the App Store. But because your association has invested in your safety, you get it for free. So you do not need to go to the App Store. Just keep that in mind. And we're going to start. What you're going to hear first is a short video. I want you to kind of have a background understanding of who we are, how this all started. I'll tell you my story, what happened to me 5 years ago that inspired me to create SafeShowings. I'll talk about what makes our app unique and what the best practices are for using SafeShowings. If you follow these best practices that we teach, you will be able to deter crime before it happens. And I'll go into a lot of detail about that. You'll see a video, a demo of the app, how easy it is to use. If you can press buttons, you can use SafeShowings. There's nowhere in our app that you have to type anything. We wanted to keep it very simple because I know we juggle a lot of different tools. After the video plays, I'm going to go over the common questions and answers. I found that that saves time. Certainly want to answer any questions you have. So as you think of those questions, jot them down, put them in the chat box, and we'll go through those questions and answers towards the end of the presentation. Then I'll show you how easy it is to register. Again, your association has invested in your safety, meaning you do not need to download it from the App Store. You get it for free. There's a QR code that we share with you in the flyer for this webinar. And there's also a link you can use, whichever one you prefer. Basically, you register. It's a one-step process. You'll see how easy that is at the end of the presentation. So we're going to go ahead and start.
Did you know that over 760,000 real estate professionals have had situations where they feared for their safety when they enter a property alone with a stranger? The SafeShowings mobile app was developed by a realtor to give real estate professionals proactive control over their own safety. It is quick and easy to record names, automatically capture exact GPS addresses, and it prompts you to capture a secure image of each potential buyer's face, a feature unique to SafeShowings. Over 200 real estate professionals have been murdered in the last decade while showing homes to prospective buyers. SafeShowings provides protection and peace of mind for real estate agents, homeowners, and potential buyers as it aims to deter crime before it starts. With SafeShowings, real estate professionals and their loved ones feel more secure, knowing that SafeShowings will automatically notify them with identifying details and geolocation in an emergency. For more information, visit SafeShowings.com. Find SafeShowings in the App Store or Google Play today and start feeling safe during showings and open houses.
5 years ago, this past March, I was a new realtor. I'd had my license for a little over a year. I was working on a team and I received an internet lead to go meet a buyer at a property. I set the appointment, I arrived to the property, drove up to the neighborhood, and when I did, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. It just didn't feel like a safe area. But I park my car, I wait for the buyer to arrive. He arrives, we go in the home, and I left the door open. We're taught to do that. Always know your exit strategy. And again, I was a little nervous about the area. He goes to the back of the house and his back is turned and he's on his cell phone. A minute later, a truck drove up. Two men jumped on the porch, and that's when my heart stopped. I thought, nobody knows where I am or who I'm with. I can tell you that's not a fun feeling. I don't know if you've experienced anything like that before, but in that split second, I didn't know what was going to happen next. I just knew that I was in a vulnerable situation. Thank God I was able to, I'm here to tell the rest of the story because I was not harmed. I did regain my composure, caught my breath, and I told him to give me a call. I gave him my business card, told him I was working with a buyer and to call me for an appointment. But I left that situation changed. I knew that I was given a second chance. And I knew that I never wanted to be in that situation again, where I felt my heart stop and not knowing if I were about to be attacked. I did my research and I found out over 200 realtors have been murdered in the last decade. I didn't know that. I actually created a binder. I've always searched for my purpose for the last 20 years. I just never knew it would be a technology solution for safety, but I created a binder, it's hard to see, and it has the stories of the faces you see here. These are 16 of the 200 that have been murdered. And they were going out to work with buyers or sellers, or maybe even working in an open house alone, helping people, and they lost their life that day. I promise you, if they could speak to us today, they would tell you they didn't know that they were going to lose their life. When we set appointments with buyers and sellers on the phone, we don't know by the sound of their voice if they're have criminal intentions. But I was given a second chance, and that's why I created Safe Showings. After I did my research, I knew that we needed something better for our industry. You probably know about Beverly Carter. Most people have met Carl or heard Carl on stage. He's a wonderful person. We've done podcasts together, and he said, Helen, I think if my mom had had Safe Showings, she might be here today. That's my other reason for doing what I do. If I can make a difference in the world, that's what I want to do. Not only are we at risk working with buyers and sellers each day that we don't know, we could put homeowners at risk. I don't think we think about that side of the equation very often. But imagine your house is on the market. I could bring somebody in, not knowing they have a criminal background. They can look and see where your security systems are, where your child's bedroom is, and where you store your valuables. They could come back in 2 weeks or 2 months and harm you and your family. I think that's so important that we look at both sides of the equation. Our safety, the homeowner safety, is all important. Right out of college, I managed apartments in Sterling, Virginia in 1986. Even in the 80s, we required renters that want to see an empty apartment surrender their driver's license. We did that because we knew if we held on to their driver's license, there's a good chance they're going to behave and come back safely to the leasing office to pick up their identification. They're still doing that today. They're far ahead of us in terms of safety, yet we represent a commodity, the largest commodity people purchase, a house in their lifetime. And there's no policy for safety, no consistent law, policy, or mandate. I think that should change. I did my research. I was looking for a product. I knew what I wanted to find was something that solved that feeling of fear I felt that day when I said, nobody knows where I am or who I'm with. I also wanted to make sure that I was protected when I worked in open house situations alone. I looked and did the research and I couldn't find anything that met those needs. Most of the products do have the ability to alert your emergency contacts where you are. But imagine 5 years ago, standing on that porch, I'm by myself with 3 men. If they had intentions to kill me, all that would do is tell my 3 emergency contacts where to tell the coroner to go pick up my body. It's too late. We needed something better, something that, if heaven forbid, if crime is committed, at least the criminal could be held accountable and caught. And there's a big difference between being proactive about your personal safety or reactive. That's why it's so important to follow the best practices you'll hear us teach. If I had a gun 5 years ago standing on a porch with 3 men, but they don't know I have it, it's in my purse, it's useless. I was caught off guard. I would not have had the ability to take control over it, to use it to defend myself. If you choose to use a gun and carry a weapon, you have a concealed permit, you need to let people know you have one before you meet with them in a professional manner, whatever's comfortable for you, but let them know when you're setting your appointment. And that's what we teach you when you use Safe Showings. The process begins when you're setting your appointments in the safety of your office, whether it's with a listing client or with a buyer that you're working with. You want to be proactive. So you start by telling them, hey, our association's invested in our safety. We're required to use Safe Showings. Safe Showings requires that we take a photo before we enter a property. That's how you deter crime. If I'm a criminal and I'm targeting a realtor that I saw on Facebook or social media, and I'm talking to them on the phone and they tell me that they use a safety app and they're required to take a photo, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to hang up the phone and call somebody else because I'm looking for an easy target. I'm not looking for a risky situation where I might get caught. So again, take control by starting while you're in the safety of your office. You have the conversation early. Hey, I just want you to know I use a safety app. I'm required to take a photo before I enter a property. If I were going to use pepper spray or mace or a piece of jewelry 5 years ago, that would not have helped me. I wouldn't be here to tell the story. I would have been attacked and murdered if they had intentions to harm me. Those are reactive approaches. Doorbell cameras are proactive. Statistics show that when criminals think there's a chance they can get caught, they'll avoid those situations. That's why alarm systems work, or a sticker that says you have a dog. Those are ways to deter crime. And by following the process we teach with Safe Showings, you're going to be able to do that as well. We have a safety toolkit that your association can provide to you, and it just kind of reiterates what we teach, the best practices, how to verbalize it, make it your own, make it comfortable. But always arrive to your property for your showings and your listing appointments early. We're taught to do that for many reasons, but for safety reasons as well. When you arrive to the property, whether it's to meet a buyer or to meet with a listing client, arrive early. And while you're in the safety of your car, that's the second step of our best practice. You're in the safety of your car. You told them on the phone you use Safe Showings. You don't wait till you get there and you see them and you say, hey, I need to take a picture. You've got to have the conversation early when you're setting your appointments. Then you arrive to the property, you press you'll see it in the demo in a minute. You press the button that says create showing and the timer starts. The next thing our app is going to ask you is, who are you meeting with? Whether it's a listing client or working with a buyer, we know who we're meeting with. We set our appointments. So you auto-populate that just by touching on their contact in your phone. Then you get out of the safety of your car. If it's a listing appointment, ring the doorbell. Hey, as I mentioned, I use Safe Showings and I'm required to take a photo before I enter a property. And if it's a family of 4 or 2 or whatever, just take that one picture. It's the actionable step of taking a photo that can save your life. If you're meeting with a buyer, again, you started the app in the safety of your car. You get out of the car when they drive up, you greet them in the yard, and you remind them, hey, as I mentioned, I use Safe Showings, I'm required to take a photo. If it's 4 people, it's one picture. Keep it simple. Take that picture. If you want to be in the picture with them, do that. Do a selfie with them. We also have in our safety toolkit rider signs and open house flyers. These are great tools for you to use for your listing and when you're doing open houses. When you're new in real estate and beyond, we do open houses, and this is a great way to send a strong message if you care about safety. Anyone driving by that sees that rider sign, whether they're a buyer or a seller or a criminal, they're going to see that and know that you care about safety. If they're a buyer or thinking about selling, they're going to remember you. They're going to think about you because they want the same level of safety for their listing. And if it's an open house and you've got that 8.5 by 11 flyer sitting on the kitchen counter when people walk in, they're going to realize that there could be cameras, whether they can see them or not. That will deter crime. If I'm a criminal and I'm targeting a family and I see that there's a Safe Showings rider sign, I'm not going to go in that house. I'm not going to take that risk. The number one fear a criminal has is not the punishment for their crime, it's getting caught. That's why we have to be a beacon for safety. Here's a quick demo of the app.
By downloading the Safe Showings app, you're proactively preparing to take advantage of more secure client contact when conducting open houses and showing appointments. Start by entering the emergency contacts of your choice, like friends, your broker, or family members. It's an easy one-step process. The app features an easy-to-adjust timer feature that will alert your emergency contacts if you've not responded during the time frame you have set. When showing properties, the app will track your exact location via the GPS feature. You can autofill your appointments information right from the contacts in your phone. You can see that the app provides significant safety at this point, but there's more. When first meeting with the appointment, use your phone to snap a photo of the client. Research demonstrates that this approach is the best way to deter criminal behavior. Now your contacts will be notified if you don't check in based on the timer and identifying information based on the photo from your showing. All of these features give you accountability for safely doing business during your showings and open houses. Following each showing, the app gives you the opportunity to make a record of the appointment. The app provides free form notes that the app will store for you. By the way, the Safe Showings app saves all the information from each showing so that you can go back and review your opportunities for sales. The open house feature provides the same great security options. Always be sure to get the facial image for all contacts during your open houses. There is a handy 5-star rating system for your showing contacts. This, along with your notes, can alert you and others of potential problems from a suspicious person or from any previous showing.
A lot of times I hear some of the same questions, so I take a few minutes to go over the common questions and answers. Hopefully it answers some of your questions. A lot of people ask me, Helen, why are you so passionate about getting an image of a face? And that's a great question. 5 years ago, when the situation happened to me, the first version of our app was developed about 6 months later. And I went to the NAR conference in DC, the legislative conference that following May, before we traveled for 2 years to promote Safe Showings. And I was up early. I wanted breakfast and coffee. And at that time, that app, the first version, I wanted people to get a picture of a driver's license. That came from my background in property management. I was up early. I wanted breakfast and coffee. And I see this guy, he's standing at the top of the stairs holding 2 cups of coffee. But he looks like Duck Dynasty. He's 2 feet away and he says, "Who are you?" And I jumped back. I was like, who is he talking to? He said, "I saw you on the airplane. I saw you 2 more times." I told myself, if I saw you again, I was going to find out who you are and what you do. And we became business partners. He's a brilliant person. He worked in the military. He has a lot of experience with AI, and he has 3 daughters. He said, "Helen, why are you getting a picture of a driver's license?" And I told him why. And he said, "You need to get a picture of a face." And I never even thought of that, using the camera already built into your phone to, get a picture of somebody's face. That's so much more powerful than a driver's license. People don't want you to have their address and information. But who looks like their driver's license? We've given this presentation to the chief of police in Charleston, and they tell us that, oh my gosh, you're saving us so much time. When we have a picture of a person, we can identify them so much faster. So that's why we get an image of a face. The second question I hear is, what do the buyers and sellers say when you're on the phone and you tell them use a safety app? I felt that way too 5 years ago. You're worried about fear of rejection more than your safety. That needs to change now more than ever in today's world. We need to be confident. We work alone and we provide a great service to our clients. And if you reverse the role and you are a buyer or you're selling and you're working with someone and they tell you they care about safety, would you be offended? If you have nothing to hide, I don't think so. It should be a red flag if you're on the phone with someone, and it needs to be every person you're working with. Be consistent. Again, you can't talk with somebody and know if they have criminal intention. So just tell them, hey, we use a safety app called Safe Showings. It's just the world we live in. We're required to take a photo. If they get upset, that should be a red flag. It should be a situation where kind of the hair on the back of your neck stands up if they're upset and you wonder, do I want to work with this person? Should I take somebody with me? Let's definitely meet at the office first. Something should raise the red flag for you. The third question is, where does the image go? The image goes to our cyber secure cloud. It doesn't go to your photo section on your phone. And that's important because if for some reason you followed the process, you told them you use Safe Showings on the phone, you arrived to the property early, you press the start showing button, the timer starts, it asks you who you're meeting with, you auto-populate that in the safety of your car, you get out of the car, you greet them, let's say they attack you and destroy the phone. Your 3 emergency contacts will still be sent the last location of the phone, who you were with, because you auto-populated that before you got out of the safety of your car. That's so important. And if you did capture a photo, it will go to our cyber secure cloud, even though the phone is destroyed. The main screen starts at 45 minutes and counts down. We chose that time because most of us can get in and out of a property in less than 20. If you want to change the timer, you can. I think 45 minutes is very enough, plenty of time. If you get distracted and you don't reset your timer yourself at 5 minutes, it's going to supersede anything you're looking at. You could be looking at the MLS notes about the property or whatever, and it's going to send you a text message that comes straight to the top, and it's going to say, are you safe? Reset your timer. So you get the 5-minute warning. If you ignore that, it's going to do what it's supposed to do. It's going to alert your 3 emergency contacts, and it's going to send them your exact location, who you're with, and an image of their face. You'll see that in a minute. But if you have multiple properties to show, just keep resetting your timer. Maybe they're looking at the bedroom or the kitchen counter. Just reset your timer. It goes back to 45 minutes. If you have the multiple properties, as soon as you get in your car, street by street, road by road, this is updating instantly. Again, there's nowhere in our app you have to type. It's smart. It's not showing time. It's not where you set your appointments for showings. It's so much easier, in my opinion, and it's different. It's not an appointment setting tool. It's a safety tool. So street by street, road by road, this is updating instantly. You put the car in park and it's going to save that second address. The top left corner is the menu section of Safe Showings. That's where you'll find the history of your showings, your 3 emergency contact information, the open house feature. This is the only app that protects you during open houses. We don't know who's coming to an open house. So there's no way that we can be proactive. I can't call them on the phone as they're walking up to my open house. So we had to come up with a way to work open houses safely, and it's very simple. You greet them at the door or outside, depending on the weather. Just say, hey, the homeowner has required that I be accountable. I just need to take a photo. If there's 7 people outside waiting, it's 1 picture. If I'm a criminal or thinking about committing my first crime, because every criminal does have that first crime, and you tell me you're using the safety app and you're taking a photo, they're gonna not misbehave. They're not gonna want to harm you because there's a record of where they were, the date, the time, and a picture of them. So that's how you deter crime. This is a talking point graphic that helps you illustrate how to handle open houses. Again, if the weather's nice, greet them outside. Just say, hey, the homeowner has required that I be accountable. I just need to get a quick photo. That's the actionable step. You can still, as you go through the open house, you can still have your registration system that you use in place, or you can use Safe Showings to put in their name, their email, their phone number, any notes that you choose. Our app does track your listing appointments, and you're working with buyers, has the date, the time, the person's name, the address that you showed them. As you noticed in the video, there is a CRM section you can skip. There's nowhere you have to type, but if you want to put a note like buying in September, you can. Everything's very logical. The first button is the create showing button. At the very end, when you press the end showing button and the timer stops, it prompts you, just like Uber and Lyft, to put how did you feel working with the person, just from a safety standpoint. There's no other information that's shared, just like Uber and Lyft. It does require you to give the person at least 1 star. I was working with Kim Hall here in Charleston. That's her unique phone number. She comes to your market, you're on the phone with Kim. Hey, Kim, I look forward to meeting you Saturday. Just want you to know we use Safe Showings. It's a realtor safety app, and we're required to take a photo. She'll probably interrupt you and say, I'm already in the database. I worked with a realtor in Charleston. But even if she doesn't, this is another tip for doing the best practices when using this app. You hang up the phone, you set the appointment to meet her at 2 o'clock on Saturday. You hang up the phone, you're still in the safety of your office. Just press our app, press the create showing button in the safety of your office. The next thing our app will say is, who are you meeting with? You auto-populate, you just talk to Kim, you've got her in your contacts, you touch on her name, and you'll see that 1 realtor's rated the client, just like Uber and Lyft. It just kind of gives you a heads up. And 99% of the time, if we're following the best practices, we're not working with criminals. They're going to hang up the phone, call somebody that doesn't use a safety tool. So you're going to see that one realtor rated the client. We're building a database across the country. So this should help us help each other. Again, there's no information about the type properties you're showing, the price range, anything else that is not shared with other realtors. Is only the safety aspect of if you had a situation. Now, if I had a situation where I'm nervous, I would rate 1 star and I would go to the optional note section and say, hey, here's my cell phone, call me. I want to explain what happened. When the timer runs out, you got the 5-minute warning, but you ignored it. The timer runs out, your 3 emergency contacts will get a text at the same time saying there might be a problem. They're going to get a 3D image and an exact address of where you are. We thought the image was important for townhouses and condominiums, just to give a little more accuracy. And then you'll have the person's name that you're with. We have their cell phone in our cyber secure cloud, and there'll be an image, and hopefully the image that the realtor took is a person's face. We cannot control what people take a picture of, but can you imagine if a situation did happen and there's a crime committed or you're attacked, you would want it to be a picture of someone's face. That's how we catch criminals. And then again, your association is already invested in your safety. It's free. You do not need to go to the App Store to download it. If you happen to have done that already or have any issues, let us know, but don't pay for it. I'm going to show you how you get it for free. And that is where we're going right now. Just bear with me 1 second. There is a QR code and there's a link, and I'll make sure that we get that to you if you don't have it. But what I want to show you is real quick. It's kind of a flyer of what the link would look like, where you have your embedded code. So if you like to click the link, you can do that. We'll share that with you. And then I'm going to show you how easy it is to register. Here's the video. It's a recording of me walking you through the registration process. The other option is a QR code that was on the flyer for the webinar. And everybody knows since the pandemic how to do that. You just, scan that QR code and then it takes you right to this process. Here we go. Hold on. Hi, I'm Helen Hudson, the founder of SafeShowings. I'm also a realtor in Charleston, South Carolina. I created SafeShowings because 3 years ago, I had a situation where I feared my own personal safety. You're receiving this video because your MLS, association, or brokerage has purchased SafeShowings Enterprise for you, so congratulations. In order to receive it for free, you do have to follow the instructions on this flyer. It's super simple. You click under option 1 there, the download button, the download link. It takes you to this screen, then you press the button that says register here. Then it takes you to this step where you enter your cell phone number, your first name, your last name, your email address. Be careful when you're typing in all this information, make sure it's accurate, and also create a password. Then click the agree to terms and press proceed. The next thing that'll happen is you'll receive a 4-digit code to your cell phone. Enter the 4-digit code here and press the button. It will take you to this screen. The last step is you click the button that says send the link. The link goes to your phone. If you have an iPhone, you click the first option at the top that's highlighted. If you have an Android, you click the one for Android. Then if you want to know more about our app under option 2, you can click learn how it works, and it takes you to this instructional video.
By downloading the SafeShowings app, you're proactively preparing to take advantage.
And you already saw the demo of the app, so that should be something you can view at a later time if you choose to. And let's see, I'm looking at questions and answers. Will the text to reset my time show up on my Apple? Yes, it works just like, I don't have an Apple Watch, but my understanding is your phone is a mirrored to the Apple Watch. Yes, it will show up on your Apple Watch, the text message, and you can just press reset timer. Very easy to do. Are there any other questions? If there's ever a question, if you want to send those into your association, and they'll filter those questions to me. Again, the app is free for you. There's no cost at all. Your association is invested in your safety. Be sure to use the QR code that's been provided or the link, whichever you prefer, and you will be prompted to register. That's a one-step process. Follow the best practices. That's how we deter crime. I'll be sending more information to your association that kind of reiterates the best practices and what those steps are. And I really appreciate your time and your interest today. And for those that were not able to join, there'll be a recorded version that your association will be able to share with you. I hope you have a wonderful, safe day.